host. He will grant me the privilege of looking down to see any time someone gives their life to him after reading my story. I was proud when I became well known. I was prouder still when I became famous. And I even enjoyed being infamous. But now what I want, what I care about, is leaving a legacy. So for every biker, every convict, every addict and alcoholic, for every person who has been abused, every neglected child, and every broken, grieving, or hurting human, my prayer is that reading this book will touch your heart so much that you will be ready to call on God. I promise you, He will answer. And if I'm already gone and you're reading this, and you give your heart to Jesus, remember, I've asked Him to let me watch so I can celebrate your new life. This book was written for you. Dog the Bounty Hunter, March 2023.
Introduction. A bend in the road is not the end of the road. Beth Chapman. I sat in the sterile hospital room as my wife, Beth, beloved by millions of fans for her larger-than-life, feisty personality, lay emaciated. I crawled into her bed, cradling her in my arms, stroking her hair, and praying silently for a miracle. The room was plain, nothing like Beth's personality. Everything in it was some unimaginative shade of white or tan. It had that sanitary, antiseptic smell, and was lit by those harsh fluorescent bulbs that make even healthy people look sick. My vibrant Bethy was trapped in her bed, hooked up to monitors and IVs to help manage the pain of the cancer ravaging its way through her body. She had originally been diagnosed with stage 2 cancer of the throat, a squamous cell carcinoma, they called it. From the moment she received this diagnosis, I simply would not tolerate anything negative being spoken about it. "Duane, I know you love to be positive about everything," Beth said, "but sometimes it annoys me, like you're living in a fairy tale or something. But facts are still facts. I have cancer. I have always held that the tongue is the most unruly member of the body, and I was taught that death and life are in the power of the tongue. I refuse to speak about death or let anything negative come out of my mouth. As a child, if I told my mother I had a bad cold, she would respond, 'Duane, you don't have a bad cold. You have the symptoms of a bad cold.' If I told her my tooth hurt so bad it was falling apart, my mom would say, 'Claim that, and it's yours. Instead, say you have a tooth that needs attention.' I still hold with this conviction. So when Beth would state, 'I have cancer,' I would reply, 'Bethy, don't say that. You do not have cancer. You have the symptoms of cancer. Do you hear me?' I didn't want her to claim that cancer was hers. I wanted her mind to fight it, not agree with it. Words are just your thoughts, expressed, and they are powerful. I was sent home in first grade because I couldn't stop crying when I heard the Humpty Dumpty nursery rhyme. My mom told my teachers the next day that I couldn't handle the fact that Humpty's egg had cracked everywhere and couldn't be put back together again. My teachers let me rewrite the rhyme and teach it to the class. I stood in front of all the first graders and recited my version of the poem. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men got together to put Humpty together again. When the class heard the new ending, they all clapped and cheered. From then on, that was the way the poem was taught in my school. I also made my mom change that prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. It didn't give me the comfort intended to help a child sleep peacefully. If I should die before I wake was fuel for bad dreams. So I made Mom take out the bit about death. My dad mocked me for it, but my grandpa told me, "Duane, that's just your personality." I have carried that philosophy with me throughout my entire life. I even had ministers change my marriage vows to take out the "till death do us part" phrase because I didn't want to speak death in any way, shape, or form over my life or over my marriage. I've never allowed